friends, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to come to you today to tell another little story from Dark World Light Work and talk about how it is relevant to the collective and to the grander message that I am trying to get out. I have briefly spoken about this story before, and this is a story that is in the book, and it is about the most corporate and longest lasting job that I ever had. The history of myself and 9-to-5 employment has been rather sordid the entire time. Jobs just never really worked out for me, especially ones that intended to have my time for 8 hours a day for like 4 or 5 days a week. It just never worked out. The first job I ever got, I worked at a movie theater, and I thought it was going to be great because I loved movies and I loved the movie theater and I had a lot of fun, but they just really hired too many people and they just didn't have the hours. And so I ended up not ever getting scheduled and I never went back. And then a little bit later, I ended up going to bartending school and I got, the little certificate so that I could become a bartender. And I got a job at a restaurant that it was newly opened. And I got a job as a server with the intention of becoming a bar back and then eventually a bartender. And I was very excited and I went to the job for a few weeks and then the whole restaurant closed down. It's just stuff like that continuously happened. I got another job after that, and it was at a mall, and I liked the job enough. It was okay, but the mall was kind of sketchy, and I came out one day and my entire car had been stolen. And because I was young and I didn't know any better, I had my TAM card, which is the training and alcohol management card, from when I was a bartender in my wallet, and someone stole my whole identity, and it took me years to clean up my credit. And just over and over again, I've had issues like that with jobs. However, the one time I was able to very quickly find and keep a job for many years was when I was hired by a market research firm, initially on the phones to call and survey people about the 2016 election. And it was at this place where I figured out what the scam was. And left the information online, which ended up having me on the government watch list and all that, blah, blah, blah. But I learned a lot from this job because I was able to get people's firsthand accounts of what they felt about the candidates and about the election. And the interesting thing that I found was that people, even the Democrats, really weren't into Hillary Clinton. And it was because they enjoyed Bill Clinton so much. People loved Bill Clinton. And they loved him mostly because of his personality. And that is what really sold Bill Clinton as a candidate. And he is a very charming, charismatic man. And he is a man that is what would be considered to be, I think the word is like a Lothario, like a womanizer kind of man. And men like that often pick plain women who are less dynamic than them because they are easier to manipulate and it is also no competition. And so when it comes to a dynamic between the two of them as a couple or even a power couple, they work. However, on their own, Bill works because of his charm. Hillary doesn't necessarily work. And I think that the Democratic Party found that out in a real-time way when they had her as the candidate and decided to pull back on Bill Clinton's role in the entire thing. Now, the interesting thing about Bill Clinton is his whole model was used by both Obama and Trump. As kind of like a man of the people, like really cool, like goes on a talk show and plays an instrument or whatever it is. And that actually was used with great success by people who came after him. And then on the other side, there was this bizarre hysteria, but at the time I just accredited it to the fact that everybody was excited that the guy from The Apprentice was now bringing that kind of energy to the presidential election. And that was the thing that I learned the most about it. And then I got to wondering exactly what was up with all of the hysteria. And that's when things got even more interesting. Hold on, the camera's about to die. And so I learned a bunch of valuable information. And I was able to keep this job for a very long time. And the reason why I even sought it out in the first place was because my grandmother had to finally retire because her condition with Alzheimer's had gotten so bad that she wasn't able to keep up at work anymore, which meant that her monthly income went down by half. It just went down from all of her work and her overtime to just her pension and retirement. And so I needed to supplement that income and put it back. And by the grace of the Holy Spirit and goodness and God, I was able to find a job before she quit her job. And we never even had any problem with money. And it was also a job that led me to a great discovery about the collective. And it really did start this journey of trying to inform everybody and make this world a better place. So it's very, very interesting. And it was the one time that I really was able to sink my teeth into a corporate job. But again, it was the Lord's work. It was spiritual assignment, as everything is in my life, which is why I wrote the book Dark World Light Work, to display that, to use that as a testimony. And so I am very excited again to present that to the world and to present all these little stories from Dark World Light Work. All right, thank you, love you.